but he says here about Bobby Wagner, the Lions near the top of the league with $22 million in cap space. This is a team that was surprisingly strong in offense last season, but ranked 28th in defensive DVOA. So you could link them to any number of veteran defenders in free agency. For a young defense like this, you want to add a strong veteran for leadership, but a strong veteran who is also playing well.
Sure.
So I want your thoughts on just the idea. Well, two things. One, Bobby Wagner himself, but number two, if there's a position the Lions should pursue in free agency, should it be linebacker number one?
Well, I'm not necessarily going to say that linebacker should be the Detroit Lions' number one priority in free agency if we're just talking about positions. But if we're talking about this linebacker, Bobby Wagner, then I absolutely believe so. See, I love what that Aaron Schatz guy said at the end, and it's something that I preach from the heavens. How we talk about Bobby Wagner not just being a veteran leader. We don't want veteran leaders like Michael Brockers,
right.
whose name might as well have been changed to Healthy Scratch because that's all he basically was last season. I don't want a guy like a Udonis Haslem for the Heat who's basically useless, but he's a veteran leader. I want a guy who's a veteran leader that can actually play the game of football better than almost anybody in the NFL at that position, and that still is Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner is one of those unique people that if he stepped off the field right now and decided to retire, first ballot Hall of Famer already, no question about it, 6-time All-Pro, 6-time first-team All-Pro, incredible career. Yeah. One of the best linebackers of this generation. You could argue he's this generation's Ray Lewis almost, or like a Luke Kuechly type, just dominant. But it's not just about what he's done for his career. He had, in many ways, one of his best seasons last year. He had his career high in sacks last season. He had the most interceptions he's had in a season since 2017. The most tackles for loss in a season he's had since 2017. And take PFF at a grain of salt if you want. He was the PFF's Pro Football Focus's number one rated linebacker in all of the NFL. Like I said, I know a lot of people don't trust Pro Football Focus, but if you're
to be number one,
yeah, look at all the other number ones at other positions, and it'll basically look like the All-Pro team. So
at 32 as well, like that matters.
Yes, I mean that does matter, and he's obviously getting up there in age. But I also look at his last contract, 5 years, $50 million. If the Lions can get him for maybe $10 million a year or even less, maybe a little bit of a shorter term deal, I would pursue Bobby Wagner because I think he's a difference maker.